In this video, I'm going to go over your second semester geometry final exam review. So the first unit we did this semester was over surface area and volume. So our first shape we have here is a triangular prism, and notice both of these problems have the same picture. For surface area, the formula for a prism is PH plus 2B. And the P and the B require some calculations. So P is the perimeter of the base. Okay, this triangle here is our base. Some people will try to say that the base is the one that's sitting on the lowest, but it's not. So the perimeter here, okay, we want to add 3 plus 4 plus, we do not have this side, but if this is the right triangle, we can simply do Pythagorean theorem. When we solve this, this will be 25, which means this side is 5. So my perimeter is 12. The B is the area of the base. So this base is a triangle, so it's going to be 1/2 base times height for the triangle, which will be 3 and 4. So that is 1/2 of 12 is 6. And we'll take that and plug it into our formula. So the perimeter is 12. Height is the distance between the bases. So that's going to be this 10 here. So we get 132, and this review is set up with multiple choice answers to help you practice that skill because your final will be multiple choice. The number 2 here is the same picture, but now we want the volume. So the formula for volume of a prism is simply base times height. We already calculated the base as 6 and the height is 10. So this is 60, or B. Next up, we have a cylinder, and again, we're going to be finding both the surface area and the volume. So surface area formula is 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. The volume formula is pi r squared h. Okay, so obviously the radius is 2, the height is 5. Cylinders are easy to deal with. Okay, when you do this, you get 88.0. Now you might get something slightly different if you're using the pi button versus the 3.14, but there will be one that is very close to your answer. Here, this will be pi 2 squared times that 5. This gets us 62.8, which is C. Our next shape is a pyramid. So surface area formula for a pyramid is 1/2 PL plus B. Okay, so we're adding the triangles together, plus B. So I'll do the P and L. P is going to be perimeter of the base, will be 4 times 10, which is 40. The area of the base is the area of the square, so that's 10 times 10, which is 100. So we'll plug those values in. 40. This L guy here is the slant height. It's the height of one of the sides of the triangle. So it is 13. When we multiply all these together, we get 360. Oh, plus 100. Still 360, which is B. This next one, we're finding the volume. The volume formula is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So this will be 1/3. This one's base is 5 times 5, which is 25. So this will be 25 times the height. Height is on the inside, so that's that 10. When we do this, we get 83.3, which is option D. Next shape we're dealing with is a sphere. We again are going to be finding surface area and volume, and they have the same radius. So the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. Okay, our radius is 10 squared. This gets us 1,256.6, which is D. And then our next one for volume is 4/3 pi r cubed. Be sure to use cubed, not squared. Okay, plug our 10 into that guy, and we get 4188.8, which is option C. Our second unit of the semester was circles. So first, given a circle that has a radius of 14.5, find the circumference. So the formula for circumference is either pi times d or 2 pi times the radius, which is what we'll use. It'll be 2 pi times 14.5, and then you simply type that in the calculator. We get 91.1, which is A. For 10, we're dealing with the circumference and something with a square. That's all right. If the circumference of the circle is 200, find the area of the square. Well, the area of the square is going to be the base times the height, but that base and the height are going to be the same as the diameter. So what I need to do is find the diameter. So I'm going to use pi d, set my circumference equal to 200, and we'll solve for d. So to do that, we will divide by pi, which gives me 63.7 about. The area of the square then is going to be 63.7 times 63.7. Okay, which is going to be slightly different than the options, and I'll explain why. So it's, I have 4057. Now, if you use this answer and you leave it in the calculator and square that, you're going to get the answer of 4052, but just picking the closest one, which is B. All right, this next three all involve this diagram here. So the first thing I'm going to do, when you're finding the measure of an arc, it equals the measure of the central angle. So what I'm going to do is fill in these values real quickly here. So obviously this is 90. If this is 50, this is a line, so this would be 130. These are vertical angles, so this is 50. And then if you either add all these up, or if we know this is 90, subtract 50 to get 40. Okay. So then we just have to find the central angle. BC, that arc there, is going to be D, 130. CD, clearly 50. And FED is going to be these two added together, which is 130. All right, we're going to find the value of x. Well, if in a circle you have chords that are the congruent to each other, so those are both 13, then the arcs associated with them are also going to be congruent. So if this arc is 79, x is going to be 79. Okay. Here in this next one, if you look, we want to find angle M. Well, angle M is this right here. Well, it happens to intercept this arc. We have an equation here involving y. So if I look at the other equation that has y, it's intercepting the same arc. So if they're intercepting the same arc, then those two angles are equal to each other. So what we're going to do is set the two equations equal to each other. and then solve for y. So we'll subtract 3y, so we'll have 3y minus 1 equals 8, add 1, and get 9. So y is 3. Be careful, because 3 could easily have been a distractor, and you might think you're done here. But we're not, because we want to find m. Okay, so I'm going to take that 3 and plug it in. So 6 times 3 is 18 minus 1 gives us a value of 17. Okay, if we have a tangent line that's attached to or connects to a radius, that angle is a right angle, which is what we're going to use to find x. So if we have a right angle, we've got a right triangle here, so we're just going to do Pythagorean theorem. So 8 squared is 64, times 9. So if we subtract that, we get 225. The square root of 225 is 15. Okay. We want to find the measure of angle 3. Well, the measure of an inscribed angle, if it's on the edge like that, is going to be half of the arc we have. So this angle 3 is going to be half of 198, which is 99. Next two questions involve the equation of a circle. So the general equation for a circle is x minus x1 squared plus y minus y1 squared equals r squared. X1 and y1 are the center, and r is our radius. So if we're finding the radius, that means r squared equals 81, which means our radius is going to be 9. Okay, for this one, the plus, this is in the equation x minus. So if I'm subtracting something and all of a sudden it's plus, that means those values were negative. So this one, where both are negative, is going to be your answer. Okay, you are getting dressed for school. This is on our probability unit. You have 2 pairs of pants, 3 shirts, and 4 pairs of socks to choose from. How many different outfits are possible? Well, for this, we're simply just going to multiply 2 times 3 times 4, which is 24. Consider the experiment of picking 1 month out of the year at random. Find the probability of a month with a y at the end. So let's write out our sample space. So there's all our months. Which ones of these are good? January ends in a Y, February ends in a Y, May ends in a Y, and July ends in a Y. So we have 4 out of the 12 months. Okay, next we have a question about permutations and combinations. So permutations, the order matters. In a combination, the order does not matter. So in this problem, identify the following situation is a permutation or combination. 10 people are competing in the luge event in the Olympics. How many different ways can you place 10 people in gold, silver, and bronze? So here the order does matter, which means we have a permutation. Right, for geometric probability, we're going to need to find areas. So we're going to find the area of the triangle, which is our shaded area, and then the area of the circle. So for the triangle, that's going to be 1/2 base times height. So we've got the base. I don't know this side here, but we can do Pythagorean theorem. So 6 squared plus x squared equals 12 squared. When you solve this, you're going to end up getting the square root of 108. And if you look at the options, we're just going to leave it like that. Times 108. The area of this circle is going to be pi r squared. Well, if this whole thing is 12, then our radius is going to be 6, which is 36 pi. Okay, so we're looking for the shaded area is this divided by the area of this circle. So the correct option here is going to be B, because that's my area of the triangle, that's my circle. Okay, 24 here. A card is drawn from a standard deck of 52 cards and then replaced. Find the probability of a black card and then a red card. Well, there are 26 out of 52 black cards. We're going to replace it, which gives us 26 out of 52 red cards. When you multiply these together, okay, this is what we get for D as our answer. The next one, a bag contains 5 red, 3 blue, 7 orange, and 10 yellow marbles. 1 marble is selected at a time, and once it is selected, it is not replaced. Find the probability that first you get a red, then you get a blue. Okay, well, we have 5 reds, and there are 25 total marbles if you add all those values together. Then we have 3 blues. Okay, but if I've already taken out a red one, then there's only 24 marbles left in here. So we'd end up getting 15 over 600. Okay, find the probability of drawing a card from a standard deck and getting a spade or a diamond. These are mutually exclusive. There's no overlap between spades and diamonds, so we're simply just going to add those probabilities together. There are 13 spades, and there are 13 diamonds. So if we add those together, we get 26 out of 52, which is C. Okay, next, what's the probability of drawing a card from a standard deck and getting a red 2 or a diamond? So here there is overlap. So I'm going to do the probability of getting a red 2, which is 1 out of a red 2, there are 2 reds, out of 52. Add that to the chance of getting a diamond. There are 13 diamonds, but we counted the 2 of diamonds twice, so I need to subtract that out. Okay, because we counted it here as a red 2, and we counted it here as a diamond. So when you do this, you get 14 out of 52, which is option B. Number 28, a spinner, it has 4 equally sized sections numbered 1 through 4. Find the probability that the spinner lands on 3 given it lands on an odd number. Well, if you've got a spinner and there's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 of them are odd, so it's going to be 1 out of those 2, which is A. And our next one, find the probability that a professional is a lawyer given they like coffee. All right, so what this does, I'm going to kind of start with the denominator here. If they like coffee, that means my denominator is 223. And of that, the lawyers, 142 of them like the coffee. Our last unit is statistics. Okay, for this first question, find the mean and the median. Well, quickly looking at this, these are all lined up. So my median is going to be 15. And then if you were to average these, because this is all symmetric, the mean and the median are actually both 15 in this case. Next one, use the table to find the percentile rank of Brett. So the first thing we need to do is list these in numerical order. All right, so here we put them in order. Brett is this one here. So for the percentile rank, we find out how many there are below him, which is 4, and divide that by the total, which is 5, which is going to give us 80th percentile. Okay, our next one, the dot plot shows the number of days that were canceled for snow each year. How many different years has school been canceled for less than 2? So that would be those guys right there. So there are 3 years. All right, so here is my set of data. We have 2 options when trying to find the 5-number summary. Option number 1 is to line up the numbers in order and use the calculator and go find the median, find the pieces. or we can let the calculator do the work for us. So to do that, remember you're going to go to Stat, Edit. Okay, if there's anything in your list, you hit Clear, Enter. All right, then we enter the data. Okay, once you have entered the data, we're going to go to Stat and then to Calculate, and we want the one variable statistics. Okay, make sure that this says list 1. And we calculate. So our 5-number summary is 5, 2.5, 4.5, 10.5, and 16. Or like I said, you can line them up and find those by hand. So D is our option. Okay, what are the outliers? Okay, to find outliers, you first need to find the interquartile range. Okay, which is going to be how far apart those two are. Which is 8. You take that number, multiply by 1.5 is 12. Okay, then you're going to take the lower quartile, 2.5, subtract that number, which is negative 9.5. So we're fine there. There is no number less than negative 9.5. Then you're going to take the upper quartile, the 10.5, and add 12 to it, 22.5. Our maximum was 16, so we're safe on that end as well. So this has no outliers. Okay, what information should be given to compare the two sets of data? Okay, well, first off, no matter what, you need to be comparing the same thing. Okay, so you're either doing the mean and standard deviation of both, or you're doing the 5-number summary of both. Well, if these are both skewed, if even one of them is skewed, then your option is going to be C. You'd do this if both of them were symmetric, which it is not. So that's the stuff that you need to know for your semester 2 final exam. Good luck.